Sliding, bunning up, rolling my Yeezys. Diamonds, can't get enough of my VVs. Hug me, squeeze me, I love you, Habibi. Ooh, she freaky, wine like a genie. To me nice shot, properly got gun palm waist, it's underneath. Push up and get fried like Kentucky, make my head get hot like Tommy. She wanna
Alright, so I'll start off with this sax sample sent to me by a producer named Kavilla. Next, I chopped up that sample a bit and then set the declicking mode to smooth. That way it's a bit smoother when it jumps to the next chop and it doesn't like stutter. Next, I throw in some fruity reverb too on that, using ozone images to make it a little bit wider. Applied some kickstart and set it to half to give it some more rhythm, and then got rid of some of the low end. Next, I loaded up the Arcist Bank in Contact, which has some really nice pads, and I set it to the String Orchestra Shimmering preset. Then I just laid down a note at G, duplicated those notes down just to give it some more low end. And then at the end of the pattern, I just varied up the notes a little bit. Next, I loaded up the Noir Felt Bank and just left it at the default preset, and I literally just copied that exact same pattern. I just ended up sending those both to the same mixer track so I could just apply effects to both at once. And I applied an effect rack, set it to the basic vintage punch just to make it sound a bit more dated. Next, I applied a fruity delay and just set the time into the middle, and then dropped the wetness a bit just to give it some more rhythm. Then I applied some Valhalla Vintage Verb, set it to the Concert Hall preset, dropped the mix a little bit and dropped the decay. Applied a bit of Camel Crusher, set it to the British Clean preset for some more distortion. Threw on an EQ and dropped the lows just a little bit, and then made it a tiny little bit wider with Ozone Imager. For the next part of the loop, I just applied some halftime to the sax and set it to 1 bar. Then I automated that halftime off and then made another one, but set that to 2 bars instead of 1 bar to give me like a bit of a switch up in the pattern. Then on the master, I just had another basic vintage punch with effect rack, and I applied some fresh air on it too. Alright, that's it for the sample. Let's lay down some drums. So I'm gonna probably be using a mix of different drum kits for this one, but I'm gonna mainly be using my boy Danny's latest drum kit, Abyss. Definitely show him some support and go cop. I'll put the link for it in the description. Alright, so for the percussion, we ain't gonna do nothing too fancy. We want some space on this beat. So I'm gonna probably use 2 different counter snares, and I'll lay down 3 notes. And then 3 notes for the next one. Now I'll copy those over. Now at the end of one of the counter snare layers, I'm gonna just add a little extra sauce to it just to give the beat some variation. Now let's listen to what we've got so far. And that didn't really take long at all. To be honest, that's all we need for now. Vary up the snare pattern a bit at the end. When you want to add some bounce to your drums, it's really important to just keep playing with the velocity of your sound. Let me try pitching up the melody and see if we can get it to sound a bit nicer. Let's grab an 808. I'm not going to be going crazy with the rolls or anything like that. I'm just going to be making the 808 hit at the bass notes. We just want to focus on space and bop. Any other notes that I add is just going to be complementing that bass note. Now I'm gonna just duplicate this note over, then put a roll under it, and that's gonna make the note like go down. Now let's duplicate this over again, but let's make this one go up. Find a grind from Danny's kit. Fucking hell. Let's grab a kick. I'm just gonna turn it up in the mixer. Let's find a drum fill. Try applying halftime to that drum fill. Now let's make an 808 pattern for the verse. Now that I listen to it, I don't really think this fill fits the beat, so I'm going to use one of my ones and then sprinkle some risers throughout the beat. Just delay these perks coming in a bit. For the intro, let's try reversing the melody. Now that sounds sick reverse, but it doesn't really flow that well, so I'm going to try chopping up the reversed part of the sample. For the bridge, let's try halftime in the melody. Now let's grab this Talk to Me Nice acapella from Russ. Shout out AK Finessing. The original beat is hard as fuck. Let's try to get it on time.
Talk to me nice shot. Talk to me nice shot. Talk to me nice shot. Properly got gun palm waist, it's underneath. Push a man get Talk to me nice shot. Properly got gun palm waist, it's underneath. Push a man get fried like Kentucky, make my head get hot like Tommy. She wanna roll bad man, wanna dungalee, get jump on body like trampoline. Toxic poison.
Now here's the final beat with the acapella.
Hug me, squeeze me, I love you, Habibi. Ooh, she freaky, wine like a genie. Talk to me nice shot. Properly got gun palm waist, it's underneath. Push a man get fried like Kentucky, make my head get hot like Tommy. She wanna roll bad man, wanna dungalee, get jump on body like trampoline. Toxic poison like a bumblebee, oil up, I don't read the company. Anyway, kill them then. We have it. No problem, spot them and collapse it. Now man get put in a packet. Right now man still looking at it. Meanwhile, big G, lot let him have it. Child of God, I ain't fucking with magic. Fuck now she's moving erratic. Widey's gone so dramatic. And I think she's onto me. Big batty gal must be Congolese. See big energy when I bust 3 times in. She wanna go bad man, wanna shuts up like dungarees. Big machine can't fuck me. To me like chat properly. Got gun palm waist, it's underneath. Push up and get fried like Kentucky. Make my head get hot like Tommy. She wanna go bad man, wanna dungalee. Get jump on body like trampoline. Lots of poison like a bumblebee. Oil up, then we got company. Sliding, bunning up, rolling my Yeezys. Diamonds, can't get enough of my VVs. Hug me, squeeze me, I love you, Habibi. Ooh, she freaky, wine like a genie.
You guys made it to the end of the video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like. If you don't want to miss my next video, consider hitting the subscribe and the little bell next to it. If you want to get any of the drum kits that I used on this beat, link in description. If you want to join the Discord community, link also in description. Now that you're done watching the video, if you want some tips on drill arrangement, check out this video next. I've run out of shit to say at the end of these videos, so I'm gonna just leave.